Alright, well as you can see, we've got a Hyundai Ioniq 5 today that we are going to check out. So come with me, let's check out how this small crossover SUV fully electric compares to other fully electric EVs like the Tesla Model Y. Alright, well I'm here in the driver's seat of the Hyundai Ioniq 5. So first time I am actually driving one, and pretty nice so far. So I am going to be sharing my impressions of this, comparing it to my Tesla Model Y, potentially even like the Model 3 that we used to have, and some of the other EVs that I've driven. So stick with me and let's drive. Alright, so we've got some, oh, no auto hold. Okay, we gotta turn that on. Let's see, so, okay, that's on now. Alright, now we're holding. Yeah, I found it quite interesting that in order to get the car going, you have to actually push a physical start-stop button. So I'm not quite sure why that's necessary at all. I really like the way that Tesla and some of the other, like, you know, as EV makers, or like things that have started as EVs do that, and I just find that to be much more convenient and seamless. But yeah, I like the CarPlay that we've got in here for sure. One of the things that I think is really missing from the Tesla. So great to have like this nice big screen display of it. Seems really snappy and responsive, which is great. So like I just pulled up ways to navigate my way back home, and yeah, it was the typing on it and everything was almost like just as responsive as typing on the phone. So that felt a little bit better than like the CarPlay that we've got on our like Buick, which is, you know, a few years older basically. I haven't tried the other part. Alright, so yeah, weird, we have to do a little kind of like, we're just like in roll mode basically here. Does not seem to want to just like creep. Alright, one second, we're gonna have to stop here and get this working. Okay, there we go. Alright, we got that working. So yeah, wired CarPlay only, I believe. No Bluetooth, wireless CarPlay. But I mean, still okay. Don't really mind plugging in, gives you a better charge anyway, especially when you're using navigation. Haven't found yet where the wireless charging pad is, but one immediate impression I have here is just, car is definitely quite roomy. So, you know, it is kind of like this hatchbacky crossover design. So you have quite a bit of like trunk space, but up here in the front especially, it's nice and wide. There's a lot of space between the driver and the passenger here, and it's got like this hollowed out space down here where you can fit a bunch of stuff, and just kind of opens up the like driving compartment here quite nicely. So let's see if we can figure out how to get like more regenerative. Okay, paddle switch regeneration conditions not met. What does that mean? I pedal on. Right. Does that mean regen? How do we get more regen? Oh, okay, I see. Oh, there's it. Okay, so we have 3 levels of regen controlled by these paddle shifters, all the way up through iPedal. So let's start with iPedal. Alright, so overall driving dynamics so far, pretty nice ride. I think this has a little bit better suspension, honestly, than the Model Y. I mean, I do feel lower to the ground overall, so this doesn't feel quite as SUV-y as the Model Y. And probably because we're closer to the ground, you don't feel like the roll as much. But even kind of going over like some of these potholes and manhole covers and stuff, I'm not feeling that kind of coming up through the seat quite as much as you do in the Y. It's also quite quiet in here. Granted, we're going pretty slow, but I'm not getting any real wind noise, and very, very little road noise from the tires or anything. Yeah. Also not very much noise from like the motors themselves. So nice and quiet. Feel quite insulated from outside. Like, I think the doors are maybe a little bit thicker, and the windows are a little bit more insulated than in the Model Y. Now, it does have these fake kind of spaceship-y sounds that it makes at low speed as like a pedestrian warning thing. So I think that's a mandated thing now for all EVs to have, but I find the Model Y one to be a little bit more natural and kind of close to what the engine noise actually is. This is not terrible in terms of ones that I've heard, but it's a little more sci-fi sounding. Sort of like if you took the motor noise and ramped it up to be like a spaceship-y sound. But yeah, lots of floor space in here for sure. I've got a ton of room for my feet. I'm pretty far back here. We'll do back seat space checkout once we get to a place where we can stop. No sunroof in this one, so I'd say this is kind of like the base version here. No leather or even like animal-free leather seats here. This is just sort of a clothy one. It's not bad. It just definitely feels a little bit more low market than what you get in the Model Y. So if this were me, I would certainly spec up for that, just because I feel like it feels a little bit more premium and nice. Awesome color options available on this, though. I think it's one of the best things going for it. And the styling is, of course, super awesome too. So we'll take a look on that on the outside. But I like the blue that this one is in. So yeah, I got this off of Toro just to kind of check out for the day. All right, so once we get out of some of this, it's not traffic, but out of this sort of residential space, we'll give it a little bit more of a test of the performance and everything. Okay, so with that, let's see, the iPedal, yeah, if I take my foot off the accelerator, definitely you feel that kind of kick in. Feels pretty Model Y-like, honestly. Be a little bit less aggressive, like it doesn't just immediately kind of start pulling you back, but pretty strong regen there. All right, let's see how 3 compares to that without the iPedal on. Yeah, a lot more coasty. I would drive this with iPedal on all of the time. Just for me, at least, I get that like it's a thing with EVs that people aren't immediately used to, but once you get used to it, it's really kind of hard to go back to not having that one pedal driving. So I would just leave this on all the time. Let's turn a little bit. Oh, there we go. All right, it's a pretty good feel. Now these seats definitely do not hold you as well as. Okay, no, sorry, I wasn't sitting back far enough. Good kind of bolstering in here. I'm not moving around too much as I shift the car back and forth. Yeah, very little roll on here. The more I'm driving some other EVs, the more I'm realizing the Model Y definitely has pretty significant like body roll when you are taking turns a little bit more aggressively. All right, now this road is pretty bad quality. It's like concrete. This is the Garden State Parkway, which is infamous, and it's like pretty old pitted concrete and everything. So it's about as bad as a road could be. But I mean, just listen. I'm kind of having to like almost shout to be heard over it. So definitely getting a lot of road noise now on here. Now some of that could be down to the wheel and the tire choice, but this one is, I believe on the default ones, it's the Aero wheels. So, this is basically what you're getting. So, all right, a little bit better now that we're on like asphalt and not the concrete. Getting more wind noise now though than we were not on the road. And we're still only going 60 miles an hour. Yeah, but I definitely like having CarPlay in here. I think that's a huge advantage. From what I have seen so far playing around with this, the built-in navigation is not super great. It sort of carried over from like Hyundai's other cars and just doesn't really understand some of the nuances of being an EV very well. So like does not do charger routing based off of the trip that you put in. So like it won't automatically route you to charging spots, and doesn't really even make it very easy to find the chargers on the built-in nav. And it does not like precondition as you're going to them from there. You can precondition, but you have to go through like settings and stuff to do it. So some of that like integration and kind of that software hardware charging integration that Tesla is so good at is really just on display as a weakness here. It's something to keep an eye out for. Now another thing to keep in mind with Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, they still have not announced any plans to switch to Tesla's NACS charging standard. So even with most of the other industry going that way, they haven't yet. And they really haven't said much about it, but the assumption is that the reason that they haven't announced any sort of plans is that because of the higher voltage architecture of these cars. So this is a 800 volt architecture, which is great because when you can find chargers that support it, you get very fast charging, which we'll check out. But you can essentially go from 10 to 80% in 20 minutes, I believe. Something's 18 minutes. I forget if that's 10 to 80% or 20 to 80%, but still very fast, kind of pretty class leading for sure with the charging rates. But because of that, Tesla does not currently support that high voltage charging on their superchargers. And so when you go charge at those, you have to use the onboard booster, which will match the voltage so that you don't blow up the car. And that results in getting slower charging rates on Tesla's equipment right now. So it seems like Tesla's got a way past this. Like the V4s that are still kind of in rumor mode, but getting closer and closer to being deployed, those look to be supporting 800 volts and even up to like 1,000 volts is sort of the indication right now. So probably when those become official, we'll start to see an announcement from Hyundai on shifting over to NACS, but still hasn't happened yet. So that means for now, at least, you are stuck with the CCS charging networks, which means Electrify America, EVgo, and Blink, Flow, like all of those other ones, ChargePoint. So just definitely not the availability, the reliability, or the convenience of Tesla's supercharging network. So I think this would be a lot more compelling when that change gets made and you can actually utilize those networks. All right, yeah, but for a highway driver and kind of a around town driver, I'm actually really liking how this drives and performs. I hate this exit here. Alrighty. I mean, we got a good amount of power here, and the handling is quite good. I feel quite connected to the road through the steering wheel. There's like a little tiny bit of extra play here in the steering, but it's not bad or making me like feel uncomfortable or anything like that. So let's see, we've got some different drive modes here too. So, all right, so let's switch to sport here now. And we get like a little bit more aggressive, more red kind of in the dash here. Actually, I'm not worried about that. All right, this is a good test here. Let's do their driver assist. So, how do I do that? Button. Follow mode. Just turn it on. Turn it on. Okay, there we go. Just had to click it 10 times. So is that engaged now? Yes, okay. So we are now in, okay, so we have auto steer, lane keep, I think we're on, alright, nope, but we're not on cruise control. No. Okay, HDA, there we go. Alright, so we are cruising, alright, and the car's driving itself, sort of. Okay, there we go. So we're now on highway driving assist, which is Hyundai's automated driver assistance system. But so this will keep me centered in the lane, does radar assisted traffic aware cruise control, so should slow me down when we come up to this truck up here. A little bit faster. And I'm not sure exactly, it's not doing driver eye tracking, so let's see. I'm gonna guess if I keep my hand off the wheel for a second here, it is going to, okay, so yeah, so it's slowing me down now. Wonder, it seems like it takes a while to kind of warn you to keep your hands on the wheel, so I don't know, I'm not super comfortable with that, so I'm gonna let this guy go. So I'm gonna take control back here. But yeah, so the cool thing is you can kind of activate each different part of this independently. So you can have it just keep you in the lane while you control the speed. You can just do the speed part, or you can do them both together. I like that you just have those different options there. And yeah, so this is keeping us in the lane, which is cool. Yeah, that's quite good. And then it even allows you to kind of, like if I want, I can steer myself within the lane and it'll just kind of stay on, take back over and everything. It's not like Tesla's autopilot that kicks you off the second you put any sort of input at all in. So this is quite nice. Let's see. I believe I can also do a lane change here. Okay, so I have to do that. And then let's see. We'll take back over. Okay, let's try another one up here. Okay, there we go. Keep hands on steering wheels. All right, let's see. Do another lane change up here in a moment and see how that works. All right. So if I just tap this, nope, it just kicks off and stops steering. Okay. I thought maybe it would do a automatic one for me. Okay, so it does that, and then okay, so I got the little steering indicator, lane indicator, and we're still in speed. Okay, yeah, so it just takes back over. All right, that's not bad. It'd be cool if it did auto lane change, but without that, honestly, I don't mind the way it does this. I like that the system itself stays on and like basically lets you know when each part of it is back active and engaged. So you don't have to like go through switching everything on and back off again. All right, so let's turn that off. And let's test out the different drive modes here. So we're on normal right now, and like you can see, it's showing me kind of the usage of the energy. So if I back off, go back down to 0. If I take my foot off entirely and brake, yeah, see some regenerative braking going back in. And if I accelerate, it's going all the way up there. All right, so we'll give this a little kind of just quick acceleration, see how that goes. Let's get back down to the speed limit. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, definitely has more than enough power to execute like a quick pass or hazard avoidance type of scenario. And then, all right, let's see. So that's in the normal one. So now we've got sport mode, and you can see everything gets a little bit more aggressive here. We've got red lights now everywhere, and I can just feel the pedal has like firmed up a little bit more now. So there's a lot more response in here. So even just kind of a little toe tap like this, get a lot more acceleration. Oh, even the regen's a little bit more aggressive now too. And let's just see how our acceleration is. Okay. Yeah, it felt about the same. I think it's just you have the beginning kind of part of the throttle is a little bit more responsive, but it doesn't feel like you're getting all that much more acceleration or anything like that. All right, and then let's go to eco mode. Oh yeah, okay. So now, now I've got to go like basically all the way to the floor to get the top of that acceleration. The regen is a lot more aggressive, and yeah, this would be a good way to kind of conserve energy and stretch out the range even further. So speaking of range, let's see, we're at 94% now, and it's saying we have an estimated 275 miles of range. So you're gonna get a little bit south of 300 miles on here, I think. Let's see, at 100 it was telling me about 280, 285, and that's like the guessometer, so that's based off of normal driving habits and stuff. It's not like Tesla's that is based off of like the EPA rated range, which you never get in real world situations. So this one's at least, you know, going to be based off of the real world. All right, eco's kind of boring, so let's go back to normal. Yeah, normal feels a lot nicer after that eco mode. Cool. All right, so I like that you get all of this information here right in front of you. It's nice to kind of have the two screens. For folks coming from a Tesla, you do get used to having everything just sort of in the middle, but I like having, you know, the speed and range and, you know, this trip information and kind of like power usage and stuff here right in front of you. You can even see like my efficiency. So we're getting 4 miles per kilowatt hour, which is pretty good. So even like with my kind of testing out of the car and everything, you know, that's going well. And let's see, I'm sure we can switch our modes here. Then we can see our stats since charging. So this has gone 50 miles and we're still projected to get another 260. So I guess you would get over 300 on 100%. And here's the total lifetime. So lifetime average of this has been 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour. Oh yeah, you can see here on the steering wheel you have these 4 pixels, which I forget what the deal with that is. I think it's the Morse code for H, for Hyundai. But yeah, I mean, you really don't get Hyundai branding on the inside, at least in the Ioniq line. And this carries not only not only in the Ioniq 5, but also in the Ioniq 6. With sort of this pixel look. And you see that kind of throughout the whole car. What else? Can we figure out other modes here? I guess you can't really change what's on the screen beyond that. Alright, and then let's take just a little bit of a look here at the screen and everything. So you can see we've got this is really where like our navigation and media are. So, here we can actually just end this because we know where we're going. But, so we got CarPlay view here. Here's the built-in navigation. And, yeah, it still kind of looks fine, but let's see. So, like, if we were going all the way up to Vermont or something, right? Alright, can you say it?
Please say the POI name or address you want to find.
Stowe Mountain Resorts.
8 results found. Please say the line number.
Sure, let's go to Georgia.
Would you like guidance to this location?
Yes. Now, let's see if it adds charging to the route. Pretty sure it will not.
Will start now.
Okay, search station. Oh, so yeah, so that's terrible. Like, it's just telling me where there's nearby stations here. It's not telling me like the ones to stop at along the route. It doesn't tell you like how long to stop or anything like that. So that's pretty bad. Okay, but so
Make a U-turn if possible.
there's your routing. Then what else do we have? Map.
900.
Okay.
Make a U-turn if possible.
Why is map and nav different?
Make a U-turn if possible.
Weird. So I guess nav is just for searching for stuff. Okay. And then okay, so media's just taking me to CarPlay and stuff. Sirius. So we have Sirius. Sounds of nature. Let's do some sounds of nature while we're driving. Oh, lively forest. On a sailing ship, city at dawn, experience the universe in rainy day. This is very calming. Alright, well, let me stop that. Oh boy. Okay, so we got all that. Let's see. Parking camera. Can't do it while we're driving. Yeah, and then we've got all of our like climate controls here, which are, it's interesting that they're like dedicated buttons, but they're also capacitive buttons without any sort of like delineation between them. So I still have to look down here to change them and everything. So it's not really doing too much other than just giving me a dedicated place to do it. But yeah. So all the climate controls and stuff there. And then over on this side, we've got our light controls, our auto hold, and our traction control. So I'm interested to see, let's switch drive modes to sport. When we stop the car and put it back on, let's see what settings are maintained. Because I have heard that basically it cancels your auto hold and everything. All right, yeah. That's a pretty good regenerative braking and auto hold. Once you have everything on the max level, feels kind of Tesla-like, and I could see you could definitely tune yourself into being able to one pedal drive this around town and with the lights and everything. All right, now as you can see here, we are using the included level 1 110 volt mobile charging equipment here. That is the version that is included with the car. And interestingly, I didn't see a NEMA 1450 or L2 version of the plug included here, at least. So it seems like you might need to get that as an extra. Actually, I don't even see a way that this would like change. So what does this say? Yeah, so are you actually just stuck with, oh yeah, 12 amp 120 volt AC input output. So I guess you're just stuck with this level 1 one. So I don't know how you get level 2 on here. If there's only like a wall-mounted one that you need to get, or just a separate mobile charger. But you can see it's at least got this little screen and shows on here. I don't know what 6 designates, but we're getting 6. Might be 0.6 kilowatts, let's say. But the car itself does show your charge rate, yeah, so I think it's 0.6 kilowatts. So we're quite a slow charge on here. We've added basically no power while this has been plugged in. I think 1% maybe over 2 hours. So very slow charging off of that. You're definitely going to want a faster home connection for this. All right, from an exterior styling perspective, I really like how this looks. I know it can be a little bit polarizing, and some people are not a huge fan, but I think it's got this cool kind of retro future vibe that definitely works. And some of the color choices are really awesome. I love this kind of dark slatey blue that we've got here. There's also like some really kind of dark nature looking greens, some black, gray, a lot of different options, but ones that definitely stick out and are different than your typical kind of car exterior color options. So here we've got the normal aero wheels, and we are on a, let's see, does it say here? So these are 19-inch Michelin 235/55Rs. They're just the normal tires that it comes with, but some all-season tires, pretty thick sidewalls there, but a good kind of all-around setup here. Not super sporty, of course, but it'll get you through most of the weather. The car itself sits pretty low. It's got a very low center of gravity and a bit of a wide stance too, so I could see this handling pretty well in the snow, and it feels vaguely sporty for just sort of this setup that it's got. So some of the cool stuff that you've got here is this overhanging sort of spoiler roof here with these sort of open vents that go down through here. And then you've got this pixel motif that you can find all around the car and on the inside as well. This is sort of the hallmark of the Ioniq line, so you find this on the Ioniq5 as well. And I did actually take a look and a drive in the Ioniq5 back at the New York Auto Show, so make sure to check out that video as well. But yeah, you can see, from... So the trunk does not power open. You need to give it a little push and then it'll itself open. This is, I believe, I don't have any paperwork with this car since it's a Turo rental, but I believe this is just the base S line, so not the limited and not the select, which I think do have power liftgate options, but this one new. And here's kind of your trunk space. I'd say this compares pretty closely to the Model Y. I think you maybe have a little bit more depth here, but not quite as much height. And you'll see the seats themselves are this 60/40 folding, which I am not a fan of because when you've got two kids here, you have no option to put the middle part down. And I like that in the Model Y you can do that because I take one kid here, and skis in the middle quite often. So no option to do that here, which is the same as the Model 3. And then trunks space-wise, we have this little tiny area here where you can see we've got the AC charger. And then there's a tire mobility kit that they give you that's basically just an air compressor. But not very much storage space here. There's like, it makes it look like you can open up under here, but you kind of just like get to parts that you don't want to be messing with in the car pretty quickly. So that's not the best. And okay, don't know why that even opens, but it gives you like access to the high voltage line, it looks like. And then there's a 12 volts, 180 watts over here. So no, and this model also has just USB-A ports here in the back, no USB-C, and no regular AC outlet here, which you can get in the higher trim models. And then no button to close this, you gotta just do it yourself. And then kind of taking a look here at the charge port, which I have not figured, oh there you go, okay, that worked that time. So you've got your standard J172 level 1 and 2 port there, and then you push this down to get access to the, or you pull this out to get access to the DC pins there for CCS fast DC charging. Then you can see the Pixel stuff again here, and we can push that button to close that. I do like that it's got the little button to close it rather than having to like push down on the door. That's nice. And then you can see we've got these fold flush door handles. When you walk up to the car, okay, I guess you just pull that out. They were presenting them before, but I don't know. No, they're not. So, yeah, figure that out. Okay, yeah, so just the driver's side door for some reason is presenting itself out. And let's just take a quick look in the hood. So there is a frunk here, which you don't get in necessarily every EV, but not nearly as useful as something like the Tesla Model Y. And weirdly, you have to find the little thing to unlatch that. And then you've got your fluids. Something else there? And then this little tiny area as a frunk. So you can see here it comes with a first aid kit, and then this is pretty interesting. It is the vehicle to load adapter. So this you can actually plug in to the charge port, and this will allow you to run different equipment off of here, like camping stuff. Let's test that out. All right, so we should be able to just yeah. See now, I don't know what the difference is here. No, I can't open this. Oh, there we go. All right, so should be able to just kind of pop this in here, and then this down. Oh, I see. Okay. So interestingly, this has got the European plugs on it, which is why there was a converter in there. So this goes in here. Got just a little plug adapter here. That, and let's see if it works. All right, so I'm going to make some toast here. Let's plug that in, and let's see. Okay, we are not getting power. Oh, I have to push this button. Oh, there we go, we're getting power. Alright, well, let's get some toast going. Alright. Woohoo, alright, and lovely toast. So, imagining all of the camping uses this would be great for. So yeah, you can power a variety of devices here off of this, the battery of the car itself off of this outlet. So very cool, and an application I wish came to more cars soon. So obviously, you know, you're not going to be able to use this to power the whole house, at least in this implementation, but nice to have this as an option, you know, when you're out camping or just out and about and need to power something that isn't USB powered off of the car. Alright, and here is just a little back seat test here, so or in this little trash bag thing they've got here. But yeah, ton of leg room here, so even with the driver's seat pushed fairly far back from me, and I'm 6'1", I've got tons of leg space back here. Just like, I'd say, I don't know, 8-9 inches in front of my knees here. Got plenty of room to stick my feet up under the seat in front, which gives me even more room. And just really wide open and comfortable back here. Then you've got the whole open area here with this bench seat, and you can even tilt this seat. Oh, yeah, there we go. This seat you can even tilt back and forth, so you can recline it all the way back here, which is quite comfortable. I definitely see myself taking a nap like this, or you can have it up here, kind of in the default position. So very nice space back here. I'd say this is definitely better than the Model Y for as far as like backseat passenger comfort goes. You can't fit probably 3 people back here all that well, but you know, for larger kids and certainly adults, this is by far more comfortable and nice than the Model Y. And I've got plenty of headroom, but just without the sunroof in this version, definitely feels a lot more closed in and you know, kind of secluded here. But not a bad place to be at all. I quite like this. You do only have these USB-A plugs and no other real charging options, but not the end of the world, but it would be nice to see USB-C back here. Alright then, here in the front seat, as you can see, I didn't move the seat at all, and I'm pretty far back. I've got, you know, I got my arms like fully extended for the steering wheel, basically. I could definitely afford to move up a little bit more. But one of the cool things here is, I've got adjustable lumbar support here, which is nice. You don't get that in the Tesla. You actually remove that. And I can so I can recline very far in this seat. Basically. Yeah, you can see I can basically fully lay almost flat here. They said that this gives you a floating feeling. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that. I believe there's also a footrest option here, so it's very popular, like in the Asia markets. So I know you can get it there, and I think in the US you can get it on the higher trim versions. At least it was in the advertising materials. So yeah, very comfortable. Like, this would be great for taking a nap while you're charging if you need to. No, you're not going to get a very long nap since the charging is so fast. But quite comfortable up here, I would say. Alright, yeah, I'm just really not a big fan of having to hit this start-stop button every time. But what can you do? Alright. We're still leaving it on? Okay. Yeah, see, like that. That makes no sense. Why did I have to go through all of those options just to get it on and going? Alright, let's get going. I'm going to go take this back and share some final impressions now. Okay, yeah, so now we're back here, and it went back to normal drive mode, and it's on level 3 regen braking, not I-pedal. So that's, maybe that's because I'm in reverse, but let's see when we go and drive. But I don't like that it doesn't save your settings there. Alright, so there are 3 main variants of the Ioniq 5. There is the base rear-wheel drive single motor version, which starts at $43,000, has 168 horsepower, and a range of 220 miles. Then, stepping up in probably the version that I would recommend is the $49,000 rear-wheel drive dual motor long range version, which takes that up to 225 horsepower and has a range of 303 miles, which is among the very highest of any EVs, and certainly leading in this class. Then going all the way up, there is the $54,000 all-wheel drive variety, the limited one, which has 320 horsepower and a range of 266 miles. So you're sacrificing about 40-ish miles of range to have that extra power. And that one will actually go 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. The rear-wheel drive dual motor ones will do 0 to 60 in 7.4 seconds. So quite a bit slower, about half the speed actually. And this car also offers 350 kilowatt DC fast charging. I confirmed it goes from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes, which is among the very fastest charging cars that are available right now. So that is one of the big benefits I think that you get here. And then of course you also have these dual 12-inch screens up in the front here, which I think are also really nice and kind of set this apart from some of the other cars out there. So I'd say these screens, while you're not getting like just kind of the one single monolithic giant screen that Tesla has, which is nice when you get used to it. Really high definition screen, very responsive, of course awesome software. These are not bad at all either. Nice and bright, responsive displays, and you get a lot of information on here, which I think is great, and it's presented in a very safe, driver-friendly way. So comparing this to a couple other EVs that I've driven, actually I just see a Mach-E going off that way. So I'd say pretty similar to the Mach-E. This is maybe a little bit more comfortable, at least for passengers. A little bit less performant, at least compared to the premium version and certainly the GT version. But you know, overall pretty similar, I would say. Ride quality is similar. Maybe a little more sporty in the Mustang, but little softer and more comfortable for passengers in this one. Compared to the Polestar, obviously a bit more room in here, a lot more space for the backseat and the trunk. The Polestar with the performance variety, I think is heads and tails above this in terms of the actual driving performance, even the suspension feel and everything. But I'd say this is probably a little bit more comfortable. You're higher off the ground, and this feels more like an SUV compared to that, whereas that's got a little bit more of a traditional sedan kind of feel. Oh man, we're at EV City here. We got a Kona driving by. We passed that Mach-E. I just saw a Genesis GV60, and we've got a Mercedes what is that, EQE over there. And we passed the BMW iX earlier while we were picking up this car, so lots and lots of EV funness going on around here. So I would say this car is probably one that makes sense if you are looking for your first EV. If you have any sort of brand loyalty to Hyundai, or you're coming from a previous Hyundai, it'll be very easy to adjust to this. As a first EV, I think this is pretty easy to get used to. You don't have, I mean, some of the ease of use stuff, like with the charging especially, is nowhere near as simple as Tesla is, but compared to some of the other EVs out there, with the great charging speeds that you're going to get on this, I think you'll definitely be quite happy. The downside is that you've got to do a lot of homework on that, like the navigation, not giving the routing for that is a huge downside here. And the navigation just makes it hard to find those charging stations. So you're definitely going to rely on some apps through Android Auto or CarPlay to find charging on any route. So I'd recommend a better route planner, or even Google Maps. Apple Maps will let you search for charging stations, but better route planner is probably the best one to give you like an actual route plan to go on longer trips. I think there's also a lot of appeal here, like as a family car, especially maybe for a family with one kid, two. 3 would be a little bit tight in here, but with just the overall comfort level in here, I think this is a really nice choice for someone who's maybe not looking for a sedan and having a little bit more space with an SUV, but not something massive. Certainly not like a 3-row one, and something where just everybody who's in here is going to be very comfortable, regardless of if you're the driver, the passenger, or in the rear seat. You're going to be quite happy here. I really appreciate those the additional like levels of lay down that you have in the back, and just the immense amount of space that you get in here, which is really quite impressive for a car that doesn't feel that big from the outside or when you're driving it on the road. I'd say it's probably not the car to go for if you're looking for something super sporty. It's not bad. Probably, you know, coming from any internal combustion car, this is certainly got a lot more, you know, torque and pickup. And with the battery weight all in the center of the car and, you know, pretty low to the ground, it definitely, you know, feels good. I don't want to say that it doesn't, but compared to something like Tesla or even Polestar or you know, the higher end Mach-E's, this certainly doesn't have as much like power and doesn't feel like it, you know, is sort of designed to be a super sporty car. Now the overall like driving dynamics of it, the handling, I'd actually say like this kind of in a way reminds me of our old Mini, just the way that the steering is done, how sort of like nimble and I think they're kind of going for like that go-kart handling and feeling. Mini definitely handled it a bit better, like was, you know, the suspension especially was a lot more connected to made you feel more connected to the road, and the you know, top end power and stuff was a lot more, but this is a little bit, I'd say, resembling that. And I just gotta say, I know I keep harping on it, but I love having CarPlay in the car. Like being able to use Waze right now is such a lifesaver, especially navigating through some traffic and stuff in the area that I'm in. I wish it were wireless CarPlay, but having to plug in here really isn't so bad. You do need a pretty long cable though, because the place where like the charging ports are is way down by your feet, and it can be pretty far away. So like you want to have your phone probably a nice long cable that's going to allow your phone to be all the way back up here in the cup holders. Now we also have this. This is called the floating island console here, and let's see. I don't think, yeah, this one, since we're in the base version here, this does not move back and forth, but on the higher end ones, this will actually slide back and forward to give you more space, or more like leg space, or more storage space right up by you. But we do not have that here right now. Here's our floating island console. So we got a little bit of room for some stuff in there, but not a ton. And there is wireless phone charging in here somewhere. I can't seem to figure it out. It's not charging my phone, but it does say that it has it. Alright, so we're driving on HDA again here. It's gonna be like pretty far left in the lane here, which I don't love. If I can like nudge it back over. I'm kind of fighting it right now. I feel like from the outside, probably looks like I'm not the best driver right here. So yeah, I don't know why it's like trying to hug the left part of the lane so much, especially because there's another car there. All right, now it's kind of moving me over. Anyway, interesting how it's kind of working. So I don't know. It's on the one hand, I like that it is a system that's designed to like assist you as a driver and not fully take over from you like Tesla's is. But on the other, like it feels like I need to give a whole lot of like input and stuff into here to actually get it to do what I want. It's not just doing it all by itself. Alright, as you can see, we're in a little bit of traffic now, and so I'm trying to let HDA do its thing, but it gets me very uncomfortably close to cars. So it's a little bit better at Tesla than Tesla is at being a Jersey driver, with like keeping a very small, tight gap. But it definitely makes me nervous, just sort of the aggressiveness which it goes in to these spaces here. So I feel like I am really having to like take control here and be super aware versus like autopilot. Yeah, it's making a little bit unnatural decisions here. All right, I mean, it is keeping me close, but that's some aggressive braking that it's doing as well. Let's see how well it maintains this gap as traffic kind of speeds up. All right, we got like a 1-car gap. This is minimally acceptable. This is a little bit bigger than I would give if I were driving here in New Jersey traffic, but it's not horrible. Seems to be following the lane quite well, though. It's quite good. All right, one other thing I've noticed here is the sound system. It's okay. It definitely does not compare all that well to Tesla's surround sound system. This one, you can definitely tell it's coming more directly just from the front, a little bit here on the side sound by your feet. Sounds more like a traditional car would sound. But you're not getting sort of that like higher fidelity and like immersive sound that you do in the Tesla, or even like in some of the higher end other EVs, so like the the upgraded sound system that you get in the Polestar or the Meridian sound system in the Rivian. I did not see an option for any upgrades on that looking around in here, but I would say the version of the sound system that you're getting here is not going to win any awards. Although speaking of awards, the Ioniq 5 and now Ioniq 6 have been the recipients of quite a few awards. They've won the Motor Trend Car and EV of the Year awards in subsequent years. And so, I think this is widely recognized as one of, if not the best EVs out there. And potentially, I might be as willing to go as far as to say the best non-Tesla option out there. So if you kind of take away like the whole charging infrastructure part, I'd say, maybe this has a case for beating out Tesla, but unfortunately in the US you can't take that out of the equation, and so I don't see any way I would put Tesla ahead of this. But I think this has got a bit better build quality. There's no rattles, no panels that are of questionable assembly, and so just like fit and finish is really good in here. And that's really what Hyundai's kind of famous for. Affordable cars that have just awesome quality as they roll off the line, and just really good maintenance and everything. You don't have to worry about them in the long term. So I think this definitely continues that with the Hyundai brand. So it's good to see Hyundai doing that, kind of in this transition from gas to EVs. And yeah, I'm not sure I could really fully recommend this right now, at least until they at least make an announcement about whether they're going to switch to Tesla's NACS or not. Having to rely on the CCS network right now is just such a pain, and especially, this car really does not give you any help at all with navigating that. So you've got to be someone who is, kind of sicko mode with charging like I am to probably make the best use of this if you're going to be road tripping at all. If you're just like daily driving this and commuting around town and you're going to be charging at home anyway, then it really doesn't matter at all. This is going to be fine for that, and the range on this is great. But it's just you're going to have to do your homework to do any sort of like longer road trip with the charging. The good thing is, with such great fast charging on here, you're at least not going to be stopping very long when you are doing that charging, and you're going to be comfortable in here with these seats. All right, and then for me, I would say, obviously my most direct comparison is with the Model Y. I don't know, I could see myself in this. I do like I really like the integration that Tesla has between their software and the charging network. I love just how simple it is I can plug in a location literally across the country, and it'll take a few seconds, but it'll pretty quickly figure out like every single spot that I need to stop to charge along the way, tell me exactly how long I need to do it, and it'll optimize that plan as best it can for me to get the fastest charging speeds, to not be sitting and waiting, and to utilize the fastest chargers. And there's just so many of them, and they're everywhere that I really would have a hard time not having that. So as it stands, I don't think I would get this car over a Model Y, but if they were to switch to an ACS, and if they can maybe invest a little bit more in the software to make this navigation a little bit more user-friendly, that could change the story. I would definitely at least consider this. For now, though, I would say if you're looking for an EV that is going to make things simple for you, and you don't want to have to go super far out of your way to plan ahead and to do a ton of extra homework, Tesla's the one to beat right now. You might be a little bit more comfortable in here. You might get faster charging. You might have some additional features and amenities like CarPlay, but you're going to miss that charging network for sure, I think. All right, well, with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Hyundai Ioniq 5. If so, please do smash that like button. And if this is your first time at the channel, or you're 101st, if you haven't subscribed yet, please ring that bell so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. I am definitely going to be checking out quite a few more EVs through Toro and hopefully through some dealerships here as well. So let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see next. All right, with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you out there on the road.